Hello, good day, my friends. Welcome to the Stokastic.com MLB Strategy Show. 12-game Friday. Take us into the weekend, Laffy. Yeah, man, this should be fun. This should be fun. Very much looking forward to this one. And it's a pretty decent pitcher slate, but not great. You know, this isn't like some opening day type of thing or, 5 days after opening day. It's good. It's not great. But just from me taking a, cursory look at this, I've done a little bit more than that, to be honest. I already recorded the perfect lineup video that Josh and I are doing 5 days a week. Would love for you guys to check that out. Ideally, we'll have it up by like noon every single day. But with basketball going on, Josh is editing it and everything. It'll be a little bit later, but definitely check it out. I think you guys will like it. It's like 5 minutes. So as I always say, you could be taking a break at work. You could be doing anything, just getting some time aside. And we're listing out some pitchers, building out a lineup in the single lineup sim with the top stacks, top pitchers, and all of that. Hopefully putting you guys in a good position. Even if that said lineup doesn't end up being great, it'll give you a good idea of where we're going if you don't have time to, watch a full live show or something like that. Even if you can, I think it's good supplemental content and it's not going to take up much of your day. And here's the truth. Your support is greatly appreciated on something like that. All right, anyway, if you don't mind, take a single second, hit that thumbs up. Love you guys in advance for doing that. Atone for your sins this fine Friday morning. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. It's free. Yeah, it's free. Did you know that? And of course, leave a comment down below if you're listening or watching after the fact. I try and read and respond to all of them at the very least. I try and read them. Einsteinium, it is not Montero Day, but I'm glad you feel that way, brother. There are a couple cheap options I think we could look at, though. Rich B, I took the day off to mow the lawn. Now I can listen to the full show in peace. Very good. No wife, no kids, just a dog, coffee, and DFS. Hell yeah, man. Look, I have a dog. I love my dog, but the older she gets, the dumber she gets, and that's the way it is. We want to treat dogs as like these animals that just, they're so smart. No, they're not. Some of them are, sure. Like the ones that can open up doors and, cook a bowl of pasta on the stove. That's not my dog. So nothing drives me up a wall more than calling yourself a dog parent. Please don't take offense to that. It's true, though, and you should drop the title. Because there is nothing easier to manage than a dog once they're past the puppy phase. You take them for a walk and you feed them. And once in a while, you play with them and you give them hugs and you pet their belly. You know what I mean? It's nice, but you're a dog owner. You're not a dog parent. Let's be real here. Let's talk baseball now that I've probably pissed some people off. You guys know it's true, though. We got 12. See what I mean, though? Like Rich says, I got no wife here, no kids, just a dog. Yeah, because the dog's easy. The dogs are fun. Dog's simple. But let's get into it. 12 games now that some of you dog dads have left at this point. That's okay. One day you'll realize I'm telling the truth. We have 12 games. You've got guys like Garrett Crochet on the mound. You've got Yamamoto on the mound. A few others in that mid-range that look good. A couple cheap options that I think are doable. We're going to dive into all of that. We'll take a look at the top pitchers, the top stacks tool. We're going to take a look at, obviously, the Sims exposure, and maybe we'll build something out in the single lineup sim as well. Look, our bread and butter has been these early slates. No doubt about it. We had 2 more Stokastic avatars take down the mini maxes over the last and smaller contests. One of them may have been the solo shot over the past 2 days on that 7 and then 3 game early slate. They've been good to us, right? But now we've got a 12 gamer. We got to buckle in. We got to buckle in. Fistula, now you're entitled to your opinion. It's not an opinion, it's a fact. But I appreciate you. So how about we do this? Let's take a look at the top 2 pitchers. Top 2 pitcher probabilities on this slate, okay? And see what stands out the most. Now, there are a few from the bottom. Herman Marquez, Jack Kahanowitz, Stephen Kolek against Arizona. Ken White was nice enough to reach out this morning. Tell me the roof was closed. But still, I don't love it. I don't love it. Ryan Nelson, against San Diego. Luis Severino at Kauffman. I mean, I guess if you wanted to do something there, it's not crazy, but I don't love it. You don't love Eric Fede, Adrian Hauser. Taj Bradley is so boom or bust, man. Like, this guy comes off an elite start against Houston, and then the Marlins shit all over him 5 days later. No idea what to make of that. I think there are better options in the 5K range, or 7K range, sorry. Ryan Yarbrough. Colton Gordon, I think, might be viable. Nick Martinez, Kiter Montero, that's Einsteinium's guy, Chris Paddock, Michael Walker. We'll get into all of this, but if we look at it from the top here, Garrett Crochet and Yamamoto, neither of them have the best matchups. Obviously, it's a better matchup for Yamamoto here against San Francisco, but not the best park. Hasn't mattered to him. It's his home park. He has fared perfectly fine there all season long. Crochet's against the Yankees, but I don't know how much it matters. Still leads the way with a top 2 pitcher probability here. 30% ownership. No problems getting to a guy like Garrett Crochet. None whatsoever. Why? Because he's elite. He's got one of the best strikeout rates in the league. You know, you're going to have a tough time not getting to either of these guys. Now, I actually think the mid-range is where we're going to live a lot today. And to me, it actually makes more sense than anything else. The guys we're going to talk about don't have the 31% K rate that Crochet does, right? They're not Tarek Skubal. They're not Yamamoto. But they're in good spots, and they're good enough pitchers. And you already know where we're going here, right? You guys already know. There is one thing I wanted to mention, though, before we do. I want to talk about another mid-range pitcher and get your guys' thoughts. What have you guys been doing with Luis Castillo lately? I was looking over his game logs and just, the numbers. It's actually pretty nuts to me that this guy does not have a single 7 strikeout game all year. Isn't that nuts? Like, okay, you could be like 7 strikeouts is an arbitrary number, but it's kind of not when you consider the fact that last year in 30 starts, Castillo had 7+ strikeouts in 40% of them. 40% of his starts, this guy had 7+ strikeouts. Bunch of 9 strikeout games, 8 strikeout games. This year, through 13 starts, he doesn't have a single game with 7 Ks. And if you want to say like, hey, that's an arbitrary number, like you're just pulling a number because he's had a bunch of 6s, fine. He has a 19% strikeout rate. Last year, 24.3, 2023, 27%, 27% in 2022. His strikeout stuff has fallen off a cliff this year. His barrel rate is up. You know, it's funny because it's not like he's been bad. From a run prevention standpoint, Castillo's still been good. He's been excellent at home at limiting runs, as he should be. T-Mobile Park is the preeminent pitcher's park in baseball. And there's no real arguing that anymore. It's even better than San Francisco, Oracle, or whatever it is now. But he's still not getting the strikeouts you're looking for at 8,500. Like, at that price point, I think Castillo's probably reasonably priced, but you need him to prevent runs. You need him to go pretty deep into a game because the Ks haven't been there. Maybe they will be today, but this isn't a Guardians team that strikes out a ton. Just really shocking, to see a guy fall off a cliff like that from a swing and miss perspective. Understandably, you saw it start to happen last year with a 24% K rate, but from 24 to 19 after having a 27.5% K rate just 2 years back, that's a little bit alarming to me. That's a little alarming. So I don't love it. But we do have to talk about Bryce Elder and Gavin Williams. We'll start with Gavin Williams. Going up against Luis Castillo here, right? Same park, 25% K rate this year, 28% K rate against lefties, by the way. And you should see, including switch hitters, you should see like 6 lefties in this Seattle lineup today, barring any unforeseen changes in the lineup. 3.9 run implied total. Probably going to have a tough time getting away from Gavin Williams. And I really wanted to come into this show and talk to you guys and be like, yo, I think Luis Castillo might be the best pivot off of this spot. Right? Like only 8% ownership, and Gavin Williams in the same park is getting 24% ownership. Like, hey, Castillo might just be our guy here. But I don't know if I want to do it. Yeah, Cleveland, at the very least, they're striking out more than they did last year. But they're not a bad team. And Castillo probably should be the same price, if not a little cheaper than Gavin Williams in this spot, just given the strikeout stuff. So, do I try and get a little bit over the field on a guy like Castillo? I want to. But I just don't know how viable it is. There's something that keeps drawing me back to this spot, though, just because he's been really good at limiting base runners and limiting runs at home. So in my mind, I'm still thinking like, should we be willing to kind of embrace that and hope that he can get deep into this game? I want to say yes, but it's a tough ask, man. On paper, Gavin Williams is clearly still the better option. Clearly still the better option. But then in the same price range, you've got Bryce Elder at 7,800. Have you guys seen what Bryce, I'm not trying to be like, what have you done for me lately? But we can go back over the last month. If you were to split Bryce Elder's 10 starts this year, right? And his last 5 have come over the last calendar month. Totally different pitcher. I mean, over the last month, Bryce Elder, listen to this. 28.5% K rate, 0.96 whip, and a 288 FIP. $7,800 against the Rockies, who away from Coors this year are dead last in WOBA, dead last in WRC plus, 25+% K rate. The Rockies have shown a little bit of life lately, but they're traveling 1,400 miles. I looked that up after having just played at Coors Field yesterday. It was a day game, but still. I think Bryce Elder is the best pitching option on this slate when you look at price point and you look at opposing matchup. And ownership. Sure, he's getting 25% ownership, but that's not really any different than Gavin Williams, Yamamoto. Garrett Crochet's getting 30%. He's popular, but it's not like he's a 60% owned pitcher today. Maybe Bryce Elder turns back into a pumpkin and implodes again, but shit, man, how do you not like that spot? Jason loves Stokastic. Thanks, man. We love you too. How do you not love that spot for Elder? I understand trying to get different there and maybe saying like there's leverage in getting away from Elder. But and I need your guys' feedback here. I need your thoughts. All of you guys who are active in chat, let me know. And those of you who are not active in chat, don't be shy. The water's warm. If we're not going to Gavin Williams and Bryce Elder, this is the question of the day, okay? If we're not going to those guys, who are we going to? Who do we go to in that price range? Like, you can't tell me Garrett Crochet and Yamamoto because you're talking about guys that are, literally $3,000 more expensive than Bryce Elder, almost $3,000 more than Gavin Williams. Who are we going to? Jamison Bonner, old Charlie Morton. Listen, I think Morton in that range is okay. Your day could be over before it starts if you're only playing a couple lineups and they include Charlie Morton, or it could be great. I actually think, and let me know your thoughts here. Damn, Rich is on Morton too. I actually think Michael Wacha's viable here. He's $7,500. Dude's been virtually unhittable at home this year. Athletics only have a 4-run total. Weather's not crazy at Kauffman. We know when the wind blows out at Kauffman, it can actually get a little wild, but the wind's blowing in at 4 miles per hour. Not a huge concern. I kind of have a little bit of interest in Waka, get like 10, 15% of him. You look at him at home this year. His last home start against a good Tigers team, 7 innings, 1 hit, 2 base runners, 6 Ks, 27 DK points. Home start before that against St. Louis, 5 innings, 1 earned, 6 Ks. Prior to that, White Sox, 7 innings, 3 earned, 5 Ks, 27 DK points. Prior to that, Houston, 6 innings, no earned, only 4 hits, 26 DK points. I mean, he's been nasty at home. He's had 1 bad home start all year. And that was on April 5th. I know he doesn't have electric strikeout stuff, but Waka can work deep into games, man. Right? Like, this guy is efficient. And efficiency, I think, is important. Matter of fact, I think efficiency is really important when you're dealing with guys in a 7K price point. Don't you? Because if they can give you 5 strikeouts and give you 6 innings and limit it 1 run, and you're seeing against this Athletics team, they have a 4-run implied total that's not high. I think there's something to be said about that. I really do. You look at innings pitched. Where's Waka? So these guys, how many starts has he made? 13? He's at 74 innings pitched. And most of these guys are all studs up top. It's really not bad at all. Yeah, I think he's viable. So $7,500 Waka to me, I don't want to sleep on that. What about you guys? Let's see some of these comments. Rich B, does Waka have win equity? Kansas City offense is bad. I'm glad you asked. The Royals are minus 160 money line favorites today. So yeah, absolutely has win equity. I mean, look, you're not going to get them as minus 250 favorites pretty much ever. That's not true. You get Chris Bubich out there against like Colorado. They might be minus 300, honestly. But yeah, I think that's more than, I think that's perfectly fine. Minus 160 favorites on the money line. Solid enough for me. I'm not going to complain about that. I'll pull it up in the live odds tool, see where they're at. See if anything has changed. Let's see here. Where are you? Hey, where'd you go? Oh, I know why. I need to sort this from time. All right, let's see. Where are you at? Minus 160. Yeah, see, Circa's at minus 156. So, again, they're all kind of all across the board. Minus 160, minus 156. But yeah, they're favorites. For sure, they're favorites. So Waka does have win equity, no doubt about it. It's a decent-sized favorite, you know? So I think there's real win equity there for sure. What about Gordon, Paul asked. Yeah, I think Colton Gordon's fine. You're getting him at a very reasonable price point. He's like a bottom 6 priced pitcher today against Minnesota? We've seen this Minnesota offense. I mean, they're not really all that frightening at all. So if you've got Colton Gordon at $6,600, sure. What's the money line here? Houston minus, so very, very slim favorites with Paddock on the other side. I also, these things can be helpful for us. If you guys don't do this, I know I tell you a lot. So those of you who watch the show probably are doing this. But if you're not watching the show, or if you're new to the show, don't be afraid to use like pitcher props as guidance. If you're not, if you're a premium member at Stokastic and you have the Sims and everything, that's different, right? Because the Sims are going to bake all of that stuff into the projection, ownership, all of that stuff is going to be at your fingertips. And it's going to essentially eliminate all of the tedious work that you'd have to do otherwise. And I'll tell you how to get it at a great discount or essentially for free in a minute. But if you're not, take advantage of these live odds screens like the one we have on OddsShopper. This will go a long way for you. So let's see. Morton. Yo, all right. Some of you guys are going to like this. 5.5 strikeout prop. Yes, there's juice on the under, but 5.5 for Charlie Morton at $6,300 looks pretty decent. Shit, that's not bad at all. I mean, Morton is the 5th cheapest pitcher on this site. The only guys cheaper are Ryan Nelson, Kiter Montero, Jack Kahanowitz, and Herman Marquez. And he's got a 5.5K prop. Or 4.5 with heavy juice to the over. Problem is, Morton can get blown up. We know that, and he can still strike out 6. But to me, that puts him in play. With those type of numbers, I guarantee we're going to get to some of him in the Sims. I can guarantee it. And if we don't, fine, I'm a moron. It'll be like me asking, why aren't we getting any Giants in these Senzatella lineups when they were facing him yesterday? Crochet, 8.5. Jeez. Clay Holmes, 5.5. That's what I want to talk about next. I'm actually excited to talk about him. Get your guys' thoughts. Elder, 5.5. Juice to the over. Look at that. Minus 155 on Penny. Yeah, how do you not like Bryce Elder here? Explain to me how you have no interest in Elder other than just wanting to be wildly contrarian. They're minus 337 money line favorites on DK. And he has a 5.5K prop with minus 155 juice to the over on Pinnacle. Come on. Yeah, he could get blown up. It's baseball, but that's just as good as it gets for a guy at that price range. I'm serious. You aren't going to get many better spots at 7,800. Minus 336 favorite with a 5.5K prop juice to the over. That's nuts. Waka, heavy juice on the over at 4.5 strikeouts. Juice on the under for Paddock. Here's Colton Gordon. Here you go. 4.5. Heavy juice on the under. I will say, honestly, that if you're asking me who do I like more, Charlie Morton or Colton Gordon, regardless of the results, regardless of how things shape up today, I think the right answer, I know the right answer, given what we're seeing here, is actually Charlie Morton. He's a minus 192 favorite. There's a high total in that game. That's scary. No doubt about it. It's a little bit concerning. I think they're both good plays, but I like Morton a little bit more here. Yamamoto, 6.5. Gavin Williams, 6.5. Or 5.5 with heavy juice in the over. All right. See, look at this. Luis Castillo. Forget about the juice, but 4.5K prop for Castillo. You never would have seen that. I wouldn't be surprised if all of last year, Castillo didn't have a single K prop in any start that was 4.5. Crazy. Aaron says Williams and Elder. Yeah, dude, those are the two that really stand out today. Now, the field will be on them. That's why I think you can look to somebody like Waka. I think you can absolutely look towards Morton, despite how scary it is. I think you can look to Colton Gordon. And I think while his strikeout stuff hasn't been what it was earlier in the year, I think Clay Holmes still looks okay. Here you go, Einsteinium. This one's for you. The Tampa Bay Rays away from home this year have not been good. I mean, they have been a totally different team away from home. At home, in that hitter-friendly park, George Steinbrenner Field, that they've been way better. But away from home, get this. Tampa has the 4th highest K rate on their active roster, and they are bottom 5 in WRC plus away from home. How about that? That may surprise some people, but those are real numbers. Clay Holmes has good stuff. I think he's probably a little bit overpriced, so I don't think we're going to get to a ton of him. Problem here is he's kind of in that no man's land where you've got Elder and Williams below him at $1,000 cheaper who look great, and then Garrett Crochet and Yamamoto above him who look pretty good as well. So I think he just ends up being kind of a casualty of the slate, as my buddy Adam Scher used to say. But I still don't mind him. And he is positively leveraged within the top pitchers tool as well. So there's something to be said about that. For sure. Tampa home and on the road, different team. But if there's one thing we know, even against righties, no matter the park, they have the 4th highest strikeout rate for the active roster. Any other pitchers you guys want to talk about? Those, yeah, Devin, that's the thing about a lot of the guys on this slate is so many of them have considerable issues when it comes to issuing walks. I will say, though, Clay Holmes has not walked a single batter over his last 2 starts. That's 13 straight innings and 51 batters faced without a walk for Clay Holmes. So maybe he's turning a corner. I don't know. Anthony, Adrian Hauser. Yeah, I'm good on that. I don't think Hauser is going to be in the Rolodex today. I don't see it. I mean, $7,300. Texas is coming off that offensive explosion, which means they're probably putting up 0 runs today. And Hauser through 24 innings this year is actually striking batters out at a respectable 21%. Probably not someone I get to a ton of, though. If you wanted to go to Hauser and see if you could, ride that wave until it crashes, go for it, right? Because he's been good. He's been good. But the issue I run into is if you're playing Adrian Hauser, that means you have to forego a lot of other pretty solid pitching options in that same price range, which I think is tough. BD, Mets manager said Holmes strikeout percentage, if it goes down, it's fine. They want more innings. All right. Well, also, it's not, I don't think it's mutually exclusive because he's going up against the team that just inherently strikes out a lot anyway. You got 5 from him today, 6 from him. You'd be pretty happy if he can go deep. But I think Holmes is okay. We probably end up with like 8 to 15% of him. All right, so we take a look at some exposures to pitchers. Let's do it. Let's see what the Sims have given us. Before we do, shout out to a few winners over the last couple of days. No 20, 50Ks, but we don't care about that. Winners are winners, man. ROI is literally the only thing that matters. And how about this? MN, just 2 weeks into using this MLB Sims and this happened. Much appreciated. There you go. Second out of 28,000. How about Elway's Army? Yeah, 2 days ago, you guys are the best, and the Sims always cooking. Takes down the mini-max on, ready for this, the early slate. And then Garrett, second Rooker knocked me out of first, but still another top finish thanks to the best tools around. Appreciate y'all once again. There you go. Third place. That's a Hall of Fame qualifier. You get a free month for that too, brother. Make sure you're rocking the avatar, stokastic.com/HOF. But, yeah, I mean, I love to see it. Love to see it. When you're getting, dude, our avatars have been everywhere in these smaller field contests, like the mini max, the solo shot, the 4-seamer. And I think too, I tell people all the time, DM me on Twitter or on Instagram. My handle's right there, Laffy_D, LOUGHY_D. Say, Laffy, can I get that code to get a discount on the Sims? And whether you want it for a week or a month, I'm going to get you a code that's going to get you at a very reasonable price. Whether you're a hobbyist, whether you're someone who takes it seriously, or whether someone who only plays a few lineups a day. Don't forget, like if you're someone that plays 3 lineups in like the 15, you may want to honestly consider playing 150 in the 50 cent and building your bankroll. And there's no better tool than that than the Sims, because look, you don't have a lot of these low stakes players using tools as powerful as the Sims in some of these super low stakes contests. You can really build a bankroll and ramp your ROI up considerably with contest selection in baseball. It's a volatile sport, but contest selection is everything. And I've made many of those mistakes over the years. Contest selection is massive, massive. So when you've got these tools at your disposal, and like I said, DM me. Hey, Laffy, I watched the show. Can I get that code? You got it, brother. Get in. Make this worth your while. We got a long way to go throughout the summer. Don't put yourself in a position where your bankroll's down to 0 by the end of June, you know? Like these are just some massive wins from brand new Sims users for baseball. 20K, second day using them. 500, Minimax, first place, second day using them. The commish, 50K. These are just the last week. Lithuma, 50K. Fantasy Gains has been crushing. But these Minimax contests matter too. I'd play in the Minimax. Why would you not? Jump in. Hit me up. Let me know when you're ready. I think you'll enjoy it. All right, so let's take a look at our exposures and see where we're at. Pitcher exposures for today. We've got... Oh, surprise, surprise. Gavin Williams up top, followed by Garrett Crochet and Bryce Elder. Yamamoto, there he is. 20%, 21% really, Charlie Morton. There it is. Yeah. So that's what we've got. We got 5 guys at 20+%. Aaron Lilly, hell yeah, got the Sims yesterday, already cashing. That's what I want to see. And look, don't go into this being like, I got to cash on my first couple. It doesn't always work like that, right? We play the long game in DFS. It's a really long season. What you want to make sure is that you don't lose your ass and you constantly put yourself in a... Do you guys know who Gundacker is? Gundacker's super creative with his content. I love that guy. He's done work with us at Stokastic. And he says, he's like, I just want to be like an EKG machine when it comes to daily. I always remember him saying this because I thought it was so smart. And what a great way of putting it. Like an EKG machine. You know, you're just kind of going up, down at a steady pace. No real outliers until eventually you hit. That's what you want. And when he said that, I was like, you know what? You're damn right, dude. That's exactly what all of us should be looking for and striving for. There you go. You got a couple Gundacker fans in there. I may be butchering the way he said it, but the point remains. And that's why these tools are super valuable. Yeah, he is. Gundacker's a wild dude. I love it. So, yeah. Yep. All right, so this is what we've got. We've already broken pitchers down, so now we're just looking at exposures. Williams, Crochet, Elder, Yamamoto, Charlie Morton. Those guys are our top 5. I'm not surprised by that at all. And then you've got Clay Holmes, 7%. I said, what, 8 to 15? We're close. 7% Peralta. We didn't talk about him all that much. I'm not going to lie. I hate playing pitchers against this St. Louis team. Unless you're that flame-throwing youngster that came up tossing 102 yesterday. He locked them down. But now Peralta's a good pitcher. At 9,500, though, I mean, I'm not in love with him here. I'm really not. So I'm not surprised we're not getting a lot. Waka, I mentioned to you guys, I might boost him a little bit. I would like to get a little bit more Waka, just because I think you could see guys like Elder and Williams get steamed throughout the day and their ownership comes up even higher. So Waka's kind of my guy down there. Colton Gordon, we have, 5% of? Get a little bit of him. Einsteinium, your guy, Kiter Montero, we're getting 5%. That all makes sense. So let's take a look at our stack exposures here within the Sims. I ran this at a 5,000 contest field, 25% to first. But remember, if you're playing the four-seamer, if you're playing the mini-max, maybe you're playing single entry stuff with a smaller field, keep all of that in mind as you use the percentage to first. And of course, how big the field is that you're generating, because you want it to be as accurate as possible when it comes to representing the field that you're playing in. Looks like we're guiding a lot of Texas against Adrian Hauser. That scares the shit out of me. A lot of the Angels against Morton. How about that? A lot of Morton, a lot of the Angels. Makes sense. Game has a 10.5 run total. A good amount of Atlanta there. With 3, 4, and 5-man stacks combined, you're talking 20% Atlanta against Herman Marquez. I can get on board with that. Houston, Kansas City, some White Sox too. Any big-time 3-man stacks we're getting to? Yeah, Atlanta's our most. Baltimore against Kahanowitz. Houston against Paddock, but that's not a lot. 4-man exposures, you've got Texas, Atlanta, Baltimore, but nothing really standing out. So let's do this. Let's go into exposure caps and see what stacks we're getting the most of. If you go into exposure cap, you can see it. Click on stack exposure at the top. This is where you can set exposure, but here are our highest exposed stacks across all formations, 3, 4, and 5s. 25% Texas, 20% Atlanta, 16% Angels, 13% Baltimore. If you wanted to tamp Texas down a little bit, I don't think I will, honestly. But if you did want to, what I would expect to happen is it's just spread out across all of these other stacks and nobody really pops on their own. Because look, we're pretty flat with these other squads. Pretty flat. Take a look at individual exposures here. And by the way, guys, if you ever want to get these tools essentially for free, link in the description. I always say you can DM me or click that link in the description that says sign up with any of our sportsbook partners. Simply click. All you have to do, the only non-negotiable part of all of this is you got to click claim offer on any of these. Make a deposit of $5 or $10, whatever the minimum is. Place your first bet or set your first lineup if it's a pick'em site and you're in a non-legal betting state. That's all you have to do. And once that settles, email us, support@stokastic.com with these 4 simple steps. Send us the screenshots of your first settled bet and your welcome email. And guess what? You've got a free month of Sims Core. It's a $120 value for $5 that you deposited and placed the bet. You may have even won your bet and gotten bonus bets as a sign-up offer or a match deposit. So not only would you say you're getting it for free, technically, you're free rolling it and you're getting bonuses, which you could turn into a bigger bankroll. You got football season coming up soon. Build that bankroll up and we'll sweat some NFL bets together. You know I can't wait for that. So yeah, if you did it 5 times with 5 of these sites and say you spent a total of like $30, not including their sign-up bonuses, that's 5 months of Sims free for whatever sports you want, and you can mix and match. So never try and tell me, hey man, I want to use the tools, but they're too expensive. No, they're not. Just takes you a couple minutes of your day, either DMing me or getting in on this. That's it. Individual exposures, looking at the outfield first. Where are we going here? Any big time exposures? Acuna, Tatis. All right, so we got the big dogs up top. Evan Carter for Texas, Michael Harris. Wow, a lot of Atlanta and Texas there. 5 of the 6 highest exposed guys we have in the outfield are Atlanta and Texas. That's good to know. It's early in the day. Things can change, but that's good to know. Bobby Witt, Corey Seager, Gunnar Henderson, Zach Neto, Jeremy Pena. Do we have anyone that we're really getting a lot of? No. Not really. A couple 20% guys there. Perez, Smith, Berger, Olsen. Nobody above 16% at first base. Drake Baldwin, 20%. Okay, so we're spread out. And you know, you can always set uniques to be a little bit different. But I don't really like, if you wanted to set 3 uniques on a 12-game slate, you could, but I don't think you need to. Let's see if anything changes for exposures. Not really. No, actually, everything remains pretty much the same as it was. Aside from the fact that you get more Gavin Williams, but Williams, Crochet, Yamamoto, Elder, and Morton are still our 5 highest exposed pitchers in a pretty similar order there. Yep. Any stack exposure changes? Not really. No, everything looks pretty much the same. Yeah. Kind of tells you all you need to know. But I don't want to get too wild on a slate like this. I don't think we need to. Yeah, I don't think we need to. So, there's that. Fisher, by the way, happy Father's Day to all of you this weekend, including dog dads. Don't start, man. Thank you, though. Thank you. Don't start. But yeah. But should we take a look at some home run bets before we get out of here? This was an efficient show today. Efficiency is what we're looking for here. Let's take a look at some home run bets. Let's find the 3 best spots and we'll hammer these together. And then you guys hit me up over on Twitter when they hit. We will celebrate together as well. Let's see if we've got anything good. Let me sort from edge, high to low. This is the OddsShopper Portfolio EV tool. This is the live odds tool. Portfolio EV tool is where the real meat and potatoes is, the real EV stuff. But this works as well. Free week in the description if you want to try it. 0 cost to you. Be smart. Check that out. If you don't like it, at the end of the week, bounce. But I think you will. Join the Discord. Wilmer Flores on DraftKings. Plus 750. That's against what? Yamamoto? Danny Jansen. 10-1. I thought we'd have more here. Jack Caglione. I thought we would have more for sure on such a big slate. Rowdy Tellez. That guy's great. In Seattle, I don't love these spots. I mean, they're still plus EV. You should bet them anyway. Small bets for me, though. Small bets for me. God, I'm surprised there's no other, really positive bets today at home runs. Keep an eye out. I mean, they will pop up throughout the day, but for 15 games, I thought we'd have more. That is not the case. Anyway, hey, appreciate you guys. Hopefully that was a good enough breakdown for you. I do my best every day to go over everything. Try and leave no stone unturned, comb over everything we need to know. But if that's not the case, and even if it was, make sure to check out Live Before Lock tonight. Those guys do a fantastic job. Hit that thumbs up on your way out the door. Goes a long way for me, and I appreciate you for it. Leave a comment. And, of course, DM me. You want to get that code for a discounted week, good discount, or month for the Sims. Or sign up to our Sportsbook partners. We got you covered. We'd love to have you start winning with us. Start using these tools. Join the Discord. You can always ask me if you have questions. Good luck tonight, guys. Have a great weekend. Happy Father's Day to all of you fathers out there. Not the dog dads. Not the dog dads. Because you're like, it won't change. You'll hang out with your dog. You can watch Netflix. Try watching Netflix with a 1.5-year-old. You know what I mean? I'm not that guy that's like, once you have kids, it's all changed. But I am the guy that says you're a dog owner. Anyway, we'll see you back here for the next one. Have a great weekend, guys. Stay safe, and I'll see you on Monday. Check out the perfect lineup video with Josh and myself. I think you'll really like it. Show some love, show some support, share it with your friends, and I'll see you soon.